No. So your question is, well, I mean, first of all, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. There's nothing that, you know, just, you can say, I mean, that's one thing that you constantly hear, is that they did this to us, so we have a right to do whatever we want, and we can go crazy on them. And that's not, there's no law that says two wrongs make a right at all. But no, I mean, no, it's not okay. It's not okay to go and carpet bomb entire villages. It's not okay to, and the weapons that Israel used, nobody, like no Palestinian has those weapons. No Palestinian has white phosphorus. I've never heard of a Palestinian launch a white phosphorus or a dime or a Flish-Tac missile into Israel. And looking just at comparatively, the numbers, I mean, when you look at the numbers, the raw numbers, in 22 days you have over 1,400 people killed. Now, explain to me how that's justifiable. You know, what...
You want an answer? No. You want an answer? We have shelters, so we had 15 minutes to run to the shelter. That's the only difference we had over there. So if they want to like bomb cities, civilian areas, that's illegal according to the international law. So if they talk so much about the international law, so they should respect it also. What?
Okay, so but that's not answering my question. I asked you why it's justifiable, and you didn't answer the question. Basically, what you're saying is that they did it to us, so we can do something bigger and badder to them. And that's not, that there's nothing that said that, there's nothing in the world that can make that okay. If I were to hit you, can you pull out a gun and basically kill me? You know, is that okay? Or if it's like, you have the law, the war is ugly, right? I understand that. But that's why you have laws of war. And two wrongs don't make a right. So that's something that you have to take into consideration. And I recognize that you do come from Israel and you see the other side of it, but that doesn't necessarily, that doesn't necessarily justify what Israel did at all, by any stretch of the imagination.
I wanted to know, is there any conceivable way of trying to re-educate this community? I'm American, I'm African American. The Jewish community and the Arab community, in terms of this, you did it to me, I did it to you, and this vicious cycle of ignorance. I wanted to know, why hasn't, from the Arab community, the Muslim community, the Christian community, born out of all of these wonderful children, I've been to Palestine, someone who's like a Martin Luther King, who says, you know what, they did it to us, they killed my grandfather, my great-grandparents, and I'm not going to use the same. This re-education of the entire Muslim world needs to happen, because there are more Muslims, children from the Gaza, and Christians who are going to die because they're fighting people with tanks and military who are nervous wreck, who think if one bomb comes over there, they're going to get us because of their past and their history. So when is the cycle going to stop? When we re-educate the Muslim community that suicide bombing is haram, that is not the way that the Prophet Muhammad fought thousands of people, a few handful. That Sayyidina Hussein was one man who fought 40,000 people in Iraq and in Baghdad. That the African American community lost thousands, millions of Africans, and yet we saying we shall overcome, and we never once thought we would come the same way, the violence that they perpetrated on us.
So ma'am, I have to say something about that. This is constantly a question. When is the Martin Luther King going to come? When is the Gandhi going to come? Well, they've come and they've been thrown in jail.
I got to say this.
No, I mean, let me finish. I definitely gave you your podium. So let me talk a little bit about, I mean, they've been thrown in jail constantly, time and time and time again, and nonviolence has been used. You know, that was the idea. There's a huge nonviolent movement there. And I don't know if you've read or if you've heard about recently, there was a man from the Bay Area. He's an American from the Bay Area, not a Palestinian, not a Muslim, not anything like that. He's actually a Jewish man. And he was protesting at the wall. They were building a wall, and he was protesting. He was shot, and currently he was shot in the brain, and so he's actually in a coma. There's a week later, another Palestinian man, nonviolent, protesting again, shot, and was killed. And so there's a lot of nonviolent movements to turn the tables and say when is a Martin Luther King going to come? When is a Gandhi going to come? that's kind of being unrealistic to the situation on the ground, because there's so many problems on the ground, and many of the people that try to oppose this stuff non-violently, and I'm not trying to say I support violence, I'm saying that the non-violent measures that have been used have been fought very, very, very heavily and resisted very heavily with tanks and missiles and guns and bullets.
I don't agree with you. A non-violent movement takes a community. It takes an entire community. There's Saudi Arabia. There's all the entire Muslim world who needs to stand with the Palestinian people.
Why don't you start the non-violent movement and we'll follow you?
These children over here have fought me because I went against suicide bombing. They won't follow me. No, dig this. They will not follow a non-violent moment. I have tried very hard with them in terms of... let her talk about the re-education of the Muslim community. Cut me off.
No, because we're running out of time.
This is not a joke. It starts here.
No, it's not a joke, but we're running out of time.
It
That's
starts,
not a joke either.
sister, I agree with you. She said, why don't I do it? So I'm responding. I'm saying to you, if we re-educate the Muslim world, that suicide bombing is haram. You cannot kill an innocent Jew just because they killed us. Allah is not with people who do wrong, who kill one human being. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Jewish, Muslim, or Christian. A non-violent movement starts from inside cleanliness, and it's an entire community that has to move.
And I don't disagree with you at all. It's not. I'm not up here advocating people killing each other. I'm here talking about what happened in Gaza. So, you know, it's not like, I'm not saying any of that stuff. You know, you're attacking me for something that I didn't even talk about. So, you know, right, re-educate Muslim, that's fine. You know, I support that. I support, you know, I would like to see peace first and foremost. As somebody who's been engaged very, very, very deeply and intensely in this movement, and seeing so many people killed on both sides, I would love to see peace. But I also realize and recognize that peace only comes after justice and accountability. So that's pretty much all I have.
Tekbir! Tekbir! Tekbir!
Alright, thank you, Reem. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And inshallah, please make sure to check out our upcoming events over week 7 and week 8.